There has always been a tussle between the rational, or physical science, and age-old religious concepts or dogmatic beliefs. Science has been raising doubts on the esoteric knowledge because there is not enough support of concrete scientific proof for such things. Science has always been maintaining that there is a huge difference between the earth and the outer world. Here on the earth there is no concept of emptiness. All places on earth are full of something or the other. However, same is not the situation in the outer space. In contrast to the position on the earth, there is a vast open space outside in the universe which carries nothing. The outer space is full of emptiness. This gave rise to various questions on the ways of communication or transmission of energy in the outer space as known to the mankind, like how light travels from the sun to the earth. We know through science that all sorts of energies need one medium or the other to travel from one place to the other. No energy can move in emptiness. Like sound, energy travels from one place to the other in the form of waves. It requires a medium to travel which can either be solid or liquid or gas. So we can hear sound coming through the air or through water, or it explains sound energy traveling through the rails. Sound waves are basically compression waves. In simpler terms, these waves travel like the waves traveling in the water. It will be interesting to note that these waves are not there if water is not there to carry them. Thus, a medium is always required for the energy moving from one place to another. However, this theory does not hold good for the light and heat energies traveling from the sun to the earth. It has been scientifically proven that these electromagnetic waves travel as waves. However, if the outer space is said to be empty without any medium, then how these energies reach from the sun through empty space to the earth? As there is no medium, how these waves are propagated? In order to explain the propagation of light through space, scientists in the 19th century proposed that the space is not empty, but carries a medium which propagates these electromagnetic waves. This they called as luminiferous ether, or the light-carrying chemical spread across the space in the universe. This was a simple explanation to this important question, and continued like an acceptable theory for quite a long time. However, this just remained a theory only, and could not be substantiated with any scientific proof. Later, during the end of 19th century, two American scientists through experiments proved beyond doubt that there was no luminiferous ether present in the outer space. There was definitely something else which was still unknown to the scientists during that time. Light is definitely a wave, and that is proven without any doubt. So what could be the explanation for its traveling through empty space? Only after a few years, in 1905, the great scientist Albert Einstein solved this problem very ingeniously. He proved that light was not just wave energy requiring some medium to travel. It also contains very small particulate matter that he named as photons. As particles themselves are physical entities and do not require any medium to travel, the light particles easily travel from the sun to the earth through empty outer space. It will not be out of context to mention that there is a Greek concept called pleroma, which means fullness. It believes that there is nothing like nothingness because it is full of emptiness. Therefore, there is no empty space, it is in fact full. It believes that the outer world, we know very little about, is full of light. This is the faith that man has built through ages for the perceived world, and is contrary to the real world we perceive through our senses. It may take some time for the science to understand this, but one day our theological beliefs will be supported by today's science itself. This was not long enough when another theory was propagated which supported the earlier argument that the space is not empty, but indeed is filled with something. Heisenberg, in his theory of uncertainty, also called theory of indeterminacy, suggested that we cannot at any point of time ascertain a pair of complementary properties of a particle. There is a limit to their accuracy. This is particularly true with the quantum objects having matter-wave nature. Therefore, we cannot accurately know the position and also the speed of subatomic or elementary particles, i.e. electrons, protons, etc. simultaneously. It is possible only when these particles were at rest. However, as these particles can never remain at rest, Hence their momentum can never be known. Even at absolute zero temperature, i.e. at -273 degrees Celsius, it is not possible. The space vacuum's temperature measures just 3 degrees below this absolute zero. And at this temperature, the space is actually filled with what they call vacuum energy spreading across the universal space and filling it completely. So earlier what we thought of the vacuum or complete emptiness in space was not exactly the situation, but the space was full of energy. This Heisenberg theory of uncertainty is of great importance as it explains a basic principle of the quantum theory. This caused a major shift from the prevailing paradigm. We go back to the earlier theory saying the space is not empty, but there is actually some substance which filled this space. This was named as ZPF, or zero-point field, filled with ZP or zero-point energy. The place called space got a new definition and a new explanation with the advent of quantum theory. At such a super low temperature very close to absolute zero, a new form of substance is created called EBC or Einstein-Bose condensate. This is the most mysterious state of matter and a totally new concept different from the other four known states of matter, i.e. solid, liquid, gas and plasma. A great Indian scientist named Satyendranath Bose way back in 1924 suggested that when a particle is cooled to few degrees close to absolute zero, this new form of matter is created by transformation of a particle to a collection of particles staying together as if they were just one. This was reconfirmed in 1938 when a substance called helium-4 subjected to so low temperatures behaved exactly as Bose had suggested. At that low temperature, helium-4 was found to lose all its viscosity and could flow in vacuum without any loss of energy. Then again in 1995, this unique substance EBC was actually made in the laboratory. These condensates were made from bosons at a very low temperature near to absolute zero. This is a very dilute gas with as low density as 100,000th of normal air. At this stage, the EBC has zero viscosity and infinite fluidity. This substance derives its power directly from the vacuum energy or the ZPE and can easily spread into the space without any loss of time. This zero-point energy is in fact the lowest possible energy level. This is the energy that stays there when all other energy has been removed from the system. So even at absolute zero temperature, helium-4 continues to remain liquid because of its zero-point energy. There has been a recent discovery that correlates us human beings to this space energy. This is something strange, but the research proves that these special Einstein-Bose condensates are also found in the human body. All cells in the living bodies contain a jelly-like substance in the form of liquid crystal. This liquid crystal is a state of substance lying between the solid state and the liquid state, and that is why it is called semi-solid. All cell membranes and connecting tissue have this substance within themselves. The specialty of this form of substance is miraculous, such that there is absolute free flow of information in this state without any loss of time. It will be easy to understand this concept when we know how our calculators work so fast. They use liquid crystal form for instantaneous flow of information. All the cells in our body contain very tiny microscopic microtubules. These are tubular structures and function as the brains of the cells. They transmit information from one cell to others absolutely fast. They are also found in the brain cells, and there they can be as long as almost a meter. For transfer of information, they adapt the process of transmission of light just as it is done in fiber optics technology. Their transmission is waved through Bose-Einstein condensates. This kind of communication can be understood through various applications of laser beam in which all the light particles or photons become coherent. A very good example of this is a hologram, which is basically a three-dimensional image of an object. This kind of effect is created when an object is photographed with the help of different sets of interfering laser beams. These different sets of light become coherent to produce a three-dimensional image of the object. Similar technology can be observed in a CD player also. Purpose of quoting these examples is to understand the new theory which suggests that the microtubules in the human cells explained above also produce such coherent light. These microtubules in a human body are very large in fact in trillions, and they produce vast amount of coherent light. For this they use zero-point energy derived from the zero-point field. This has also been correlated to the Indian philosophy through Akashic record, or the Chinese understanding as Qi. In Indian philosophy this has been very well explained through the karmas of ancient sages who did it through yoga to connect their mind to the energy of the universe and align themselves with it. Now quantum theory is ready to recognize this as a possible activity. Thus the human brain can get in touch with the vacuum energy and the extremely vast pool of information available there related to past, present and future. It is also believed that the ether or chi spread across the universe can transform into matter. The vice versa is also true, that the matter can be transformed into energy. This can also be supported by the theory of zero-point field fueling the creation of Einstein-Bose condensates and vice versa. Surprisingly, science looks at it this way today. However, long back Mani, a Gnostic teacher, had already stated that matter is nothing but only bottled light. The Japanese researchers argue that as the microtubules in the human body are in trillions, the possibilities of storing limitless data by a human being is immensely high. In the local transmission of information in the body, these microtubules make it possible instantaneously. However, when there are parallel microtubules, they exchange coherent light with each other, and their interference generating huge quantities of holographic images have capacity to store extremely huge amounts of information. This would make it possible to have a three-dimensional recording of illusionary world which will not be different from the reality. This virtual reality has been named as Bohemian IMAX, named after the great philosopher David Bohm. On the contrary, literal reality is what the brain creates images of the real thing on the basis of information gathered through our various senses. All this is possible with a pineal gland seated in the human brain. This is an endocrine gland situated almost in the middle of the brain, secreting hormone melatonin regulating sleep patterns. This is also called the third eye. This pineal body is supposed to be the seat for exchange of information with the zero-point field. This zero-point field is in fact a huge database that keeps record of every possible information, i.e., what happened in the past, what is happening at present, and also what will happen in future in the universe. So if we believe the quantum theory to be true, then there are millions of different universes with billions of holographic images of all human beings who were there in the past, the present ones, and also the ones who are yet to come to our planet. And it can also be imagined that each one of these is capable of giving information to the zero-point field and taking information from there. This is a mind-boggling vast matter, and so complicated, that with the current scientific knowledge we have, it is not possible to apprehend it. Nevertheless, with so much research work going on the field, it is possible in near future, and it may not be surprising if we come to know that the theological concepts are not just dogmatic, but have a basis to understand the existence of universe in a much broader sense than classical physics can offer to explain. These religious beliefs are not just the whims and fancies of earlier generations, but can explain things which even now science is groping in the dark to explain and accept. There are indeed few things which they knew better than we know now. Not only that, research is also going on how to tap and utilize this zero-point energy. It will be very interesting to see how the old beliefs meet the new scientific knowledge for a better understanding of human capabilities and their relationship with the universal forces.